You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
You have the choice. Whether it's going out to dinner or ordering takeout at a local restaurant or buying that new outfit from a local boutique, those choices help to put money back into your community. Town Square Media South Jersey proudly puts a spotlight on local businesses.
First Bank of Sea Isle City, Cape May County's community bank. Philly Marble and the Philly Marble and Tile Outlet, Philadelphia Avenue and Route 30 in Egg Harbor City. Visit phillymarble.com. Jenkins Plumbing and Heating. Call Jenkins for heating and air conditioning installation, service and maintenance, plumbing, or drain cleaning service. 609-641-6440 or jenkinsplumbingandheating.com. The Nizam's Authentic Indian Cuisine. They are waiting to serve you. Dr. Lyle M. Back. For everything from skincare to cosmetic surgery, go to ILoveLyleBack.com. And J&M Elite Contractors Roofing and Siding. Check out their great reviews at jmelitecontractors.com.
Thank you for supporting your local businesses from Town Square Media, South Jersey.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They've got him! It's a fact!
Sixers.
Oh, baby!
And Flyers. 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hinnett on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Josh Hinnett.
Well, what a miserable start to the Phillies season. We will get to the Phillies opening day loss to the Braves, plus major news for the Eagles. They have traded Hassan Reddick. We will get into all what that means as well coming up here on the Power Hour known as Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Also, of course, coming up tonight, more of the Sweet 16. You hear all the action right here on 97.3 ESPN FM and on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. On top of all of that, of course, the Sixers are back in action tonight. They got Cleveland. They're in Cleveland. They take on the Cavs. So we got all those elements and more. So there's a lot to get to this hour. Of course, you can join the conversation. I see texts already have been coming in. 609-403-0973 in your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And, you know, obviously, we got to start with the Phillies. I'll get to the Eagles in a bit. But Phillies game just ended. They lose 9-3. I understand that there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people who will look at a loss like this and overreact. And I'm going to tell all of you, if you're overreacting to game one of the Major League Baseball season, then you're irrational. And I'll fight with all of you about this. I don't care. Look, I got people texting me already. This bullpen stinks. I told you the Phillies weren't good, blah, blah, blah. Here's the reality. The Philadelphia Phillies are not a bad baseball team, okay? We got to get this idea out of our head that one game is going to be the reason why X, Y, or Z happens for the entire season. Let me tell you something. This team started 15-15 last year, and they went to the NLCS. In fact, the Phillies lost, 4 in a row last year, and they went to the NLCS. The year before, the Phillies started the year with a losing record through April, and they went to the World Series. I can't overreact to one game. I just can't. Look, we could have a conversation about the Phillies loss. We could have a conversation about why they lost. But if your answer to everything I'm going to say is the bullpen stinks and Rob Thompson's an idiot, then you and I are not watching the same baseball games. You know, I saw people commenting on our question at 973 ESPN over on Facebook. There were two people who said Rob Thompson needs to be fired. And it's like, fired for what? And I think the problem is that I genuinely think, and I'm not saying this is everybody, I genuinely think there are people out there who just don't know how to be happy. Okay? Look, I know losing stinks. Okay? I know that some of this stuff it's just not fun. Okay? It's not fun to go out there and see your team lose 9-3 in a game they should have won. And Phil is right over on the text board saying Wheeler won't win a Cy Young with this bullpen support. Absolutely terrible. 9 runs, a wasted effort from Phil out there. And Phil's right on the text board at 609-403-0973. But the bullpen doesn't stink. They had a bad day at the office. First of all, they should have never brought Strom into the game when they did. To me, the Phillies' problem isn't the bullpen. The problem is the construction of the team. We had this conversation the last 2 years. So this is not a new conversation we're having here on 97.3 ESPN. The Phillies have an obsession with building a baseball team differently than everyone else on planet Earth. Now, because they have this odd construction of the team, because they have this strange way that they build the roster each and every year, it's going to be easy to criticize. Why do you go to Strom, then Alvarado, then Brogdon, then Marte? Because that's how they built the team. They built the team with the understanding that these guys have historically been some of our best guys. So we are going to lean on those guys for better or for worse. Well, today was for the worse, because what happened? The Atlanta Braves basically waited for Zach Wheeler to get out of the game. The Atlanta Braves realized that today was not going to be their day. They had no chance at touching Zach Wheeler today. They had no chance of trying to take the game away from him. So the Braves basically said, we got to survive for these 6-7 innings until Wheeler's out of the game. And the Phillies decided that it was more important to take Wheeler out of the game on March 29th after 89 pitches than it was to win opening day. Now, if you want to criticize Rob Thompson, the Phillies, for that, we can criticize him for that. If you want to criticize Matt Strom for having a bad day at the office, you can criticize him for having a bad day at the office. You want to criticize Alvarado for throwing too much cheese over the middle of the plate and getting smacked around, you could blame him for that. But the reality is that the Phillies actually were trying to win the game. They just did a poor job at executing. Under normal circumstances, what the Phillies did today won them a lot of games last year. In fact, I'm less upset with the bullpen than I am with the Phillies hitters. Remember 2 years ago, Dave Dombrowski told us that they built this team to out-hit their problems. So if you built this team to out-hit your problems, Schwarber 0 for 4, Turner 0 for 4, Harper 0 for 3 with a walk, Harper with 3 strikeouts, Real Muto 0 for 3 with a walk and 2 strikeouts, Castellanos 1 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, Brandon Marsh 1 for 4 with, what is that? 3 strikeouts. You had 15 strikeouts in the opening day of the season. And don't tell me that was Spencer Strider, because he only had 8 of those 15 strikeouts against you. You let the Braves bullpen strike you out 7 times. That's where my ire is. The bullpen's not the problem. The problem is that, as Dave Dombrowski said 2 years ago, this team is built to out-hit their problems. And we're right back to where we started when the season ended last year. The Phillies had a chance to beat the Diamondbacks, go to the World Series, but they didn't. You know why? Because they came home and they couldn't hit a lick. Kyle Schwarber goes out there and loses 12, 15 pounds coming into the year. Trey Turner and Bryce Harper are supposed to be coming in here more focused and ready to go. Real Muto spends the entire offseason training in virtual reality sessions to get his hitting stroke done. Castellanos said that his mind is in the right place. Marsh says he's fully recovered from his surgery. Well, he just had 15 strikeouts. This team left 5 men on base. Maybe if you don't leave 5 men on base and you hit them in, maybe, just maybe, this is a different game. And the reality is that the Braves scored almost all of their runs in the 8th inning. If you would have not had a game that was 2-2 going into the 8th, maybe it plays out differently. Yes, Alvarado had a bad day. But the Phillies scored 0 runs from the 6th inning on. They also scored 0 runs in the first 4 innings. Now, again, I understand it's Spencer Strider. But you're telling me that Jimenez, Johnson, and Minter are that good? You got dominated by Jimenez, Johnson, and Minter? And that's my problem coming out of the first Phillies game of the year. We are right back to where we started. We are right back to the offense not showing up, not doing their job, and striking out a gazillion times. If the starting lineup does their job, they don't lose 9-3. Do they still lose the game? Maybe. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny that there is a chance that the team still doesn't lose this game, right? But if that score is 9-6 instead of 9-3, I think we all feel a little differently right now. Over on the text board, 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. An anonymous texter chimes in and says the offense didn't show up today. It's okay. It's 1 game out of 62. Well, texter, I said that at the beginning of the conversation. I'm not going to extrapolate off of 1 game. I'm not going to hyper-analyze the Phillies off of 1 game. I said that multiple times at the top of the show. But I can still criticize the fact that the offense didn't show up. And I think we should question that because, again, we are having deja vu. We are having nightmares of what happened last year. That's where my concern is. Because we all know that if the Phillies offense shows up on a night in and night out basis, they are one of the best teams in baseball. When Schwarber, Turner, Harper, Realmuto play at the level that they are capable of, this is one of the best teams in baseball. But when those 4 guys don't show up, when those guys, think about it, Schwarber, Turner, Harper, and Realmuto, those guys combined for 7 of your 15 strikeouts. Those are your 1 through 4 hitters. When you have what is supposed to be your 4 best hitters, quote unquote, 4 best hitters, all not get a hit and combined for 7 strikeouts, I'm going to complain about it. Another anonymous. Wow, you guys love being anonymous texters today at 609-403-0973. Texter chimes in and says, you are correct. They are back to doing what all Philadelphia teams are good at, choking. Well, again, see, that's why you're an anonymous texter. You can't put your name on it. Okay? Philly teams are not only good at one thing, choking. You sound like a hater. The person who texts that in is a hater until they don't put their name on it. Because the reality is that I can go to every city in America and tell you how their teams choke. It's not a Philly team thing that they're good at. You sound like a petulant child who's mad at a girl who didn't go out with you, so you're going to call her a skank. That's what you sound like. Person who says only thing that Philly teams are good at is choking is probably the same guy who called a girl a skank in high school because she wouldn't go out with him. And then she had the same boyfriend for 2 years and then she wouldn't cheat on her boyfriend. That's what you sound like, anonymous texter. Coming also in, Justin in Galloway puts his name on the text at 609-403-0973. He says, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing to worry about. Everybody has a little rust, especially the first 5 to 10 or so games. Not worrying about the pitching. It could get a little more on track, but the bats is a different story. That'll come with a few games under the belt since it didn't today. And by the way, he says, you guys are the best. I won Creed tickets. Oh, well, Justin was at the Eagles. The Phillies opening day watch party today at Maynard's in Margate. That's great. That's awesome, Justin. I'm glad to hear that. I'm actually trying to go to that Creed concert as well, so maybe I'll bump into you at the concert. But yeah, first of all, thank you for being one of the main people who came out to Maynard's in Margate for the Phillies opening day watch party. I'm glad you won something. Yeah, Creed tickets are, I mean, listen, if you're someone of a certain age group, you know, Creed was was for better or for worse. Creed was a part of your formative years, listening to them, and then they broke up, and then Alter Bridge came along. That's a whole other story. But Justin, you're right. There is something about you started the year, let the guys get their feet under them. I totally agree with you. But like I said, there's a little bit of deja vu. It's a little bit of PTSD. And by the way, Chris from Northfield, we don't save numbers at all around here. I will let you know. Chris from Northfield says he didn't put his name on the previous text about the offense not showing up today, but it's only one game out of 162. Chris from Northfield, we don't save any one's numbers, actually. Now, if you want to criticize 97.3 for not knowing who's texting again, sometimes I'll totally give you that. But no, Chris from Northfield, I'm glad that you and Justin from Galway both got to go to the Maynard's watch party. Maynard's at Margate. I mean, it was so ridiculously packed in there that when the news broke about Hassan Reddick and the Eagles, we couldn't get the word to Mike Gill and Ryan Rothstein because they couldn't hear, and the internet was so log-jammed that we couldn't tell them the breaking news because that's how packed you guys made the place. So thank you to everyone who listens to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill and Game Night with Josh Hennigan, listens to 97.3 ESPN. You made the Phillies watch party great today. And even though the Phillies lost today, I'm glad to hear that you guys had a great time. Chris from Northfield, Justin in Galloway, good stuff from you guys. I'll get to more of your texts coming up on the other side because I got to get into the Hassan Reddick trade. Big news today. The Phillies are playing opening day, and the Eagles decided we're going to try to steal some attention away from the Phillies and make a trade because that's what the Eagles do. The Eagles are going to do what the Eagles do. And I'm going to tell you why this trade was actually a savvy move by Howie Roseman. I'm Josh Hennigan. This is Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app. It's free. Thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Saturday on ESPN Radio. It's opening weekend for Major League Baseball.
Looking up at the track, it is gone. A solo shot for Harper.
We head to Philadelphia for a showdown between NL East rivals. Bryce Harper and the Phillies face Ronald Acuna Jr. in the Atlanta Braves.
Ronald Acuna Jr. with a foul.
The Braves at the Phillies. Coverage begins tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern with first pitch at 4 Eastern.
It's Phillies baseball on 97.3 ESPN.
Drive like a champion when you lease with the winning team at BMW of Atlantic City. We're dishing out the ultimate assist of game-changing lease offers on our all-pro lineup of ultimate driving machines, like a new 2024 X3 xDrive 30i. Lease for $649 a month. 36 months, zero security deposit at BMW of Atlantic City. Closer than you think. Located in Egg Harbor Township. Online at bmwatlanticcity.com. For more details, call 609-316-2393.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a new Samsung Galaxy A15 for just $99. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Good talk.
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. In-store activation on single Silver Unlimited plan or higher required. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And who doesn't want zero body odor? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 800 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 800. LUMEdeodorant.com, code 800 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code 800.
Now, during Staples Print Big Sale, get $20 off your print purchase of $100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of $200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of $300 or more. So the more you print at Staples, the more you save. To demonstrate, print at Staples, you save. But if you print at Staples, you save. See how that works? Staples Print Big Sale. Print more, save more. Up to $100. Ends 4/6. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Dog parents are loving Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend Premium Dog Food.
The way she acts and the way she moves, it's just so much better. And she acts like she's like a puppy again. It's unbelievable.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a freeze-dried raw food made with 0 artificial preservatives, so it's naturally shelf-stable with no mess, freezer, or fridge required. Plus, it's full of premium turkey, beef, salmon, and meat your dog will love.
We started with Nature's Blend. She's happy, she sleeps well, she's energetic. I am just delighted with this product.
When given the choice, Nature's Blend and Amazon's #1 bestseller in dry dog food, 29 out of 30 dogs chose Nature's Blend first.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of delicious beef liver treats. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Text DEAL to 511-511. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
A healthy weight, more energy, and smooth, regular bowel movements. 3 things everyone strives for.
It's me, Chuck Norris. There's one really important thing we don't talk about enough. Our health, achy joints, digestive issues, weight gain, and fatigue. We are told these are normal signs of aging. So working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick.
Morning Kick is a revolutionary formula combining 10 different supplements in one. Probiotics that help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and several of the most powerful anti-aging supplements on earth. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, focused, and help manage stress.
Anybody can achieve great health regardless of their age.
Go to round houseprovisions.com. Use code SUPPORT or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off today.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511. Morning Kick. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Oh, yeah, it's on at Matt Black Nissan. If you're currently stuck in a loan or lease, AJ the Trade Man can get you released. Matt Black Nissan.com. It's on at Matt Black Nissan on the Black Horse Pike in Harbor Township.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Back to text board in just a moment at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And by the way, congratulations to Jeff in EHT. Jeff was the winner of our Phillies trip, the Baltimore contest with Mike Gill and the Sports Bash, broadcasting live for the Phillies watch party at Maynard's in Margate. And of course, Mike Gill, as he stated on the Sports Bash, he'll be announcing next week all the details for our next contest giveaway, which will be the Eagles draft party event coming up in April. So keep it tuned here at 97.3 ESPN for all of those details. Back to the text board as promised, 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Joey D from Ventnor chimes in, says the bats by the top four players are unacceptable. I agree, Josh, 100%. That's from Joey D and Ventnor. Yeah, it's one of those deals where, I don't understand how you can go into a season, and I understand some of you are right. It's only one game, and I agree with you. But it's not that it's one game. It's the fact that we just saw this. We literally just saw this a few months ago, October. So what's that? November, December, January, February. It's like 5-6 months ago. We just saw this 6 months ago that you were incapable, you were unable to complete a simple task, which was win a home game because you couldn't put the ball in play. It's unacceptable. Glenn from Absecon chimes in at 609-403-0973. He says, if you don't put the ball in play, it's hard to score. I agree. He says, you name the Braves bullpen as if they were a AAA bullpen. They're on the Braves pitching staff because they're good. And today they had the Phillies number. It was just one of those days. Well, yes, I know that they're okay. Glenn from Absecon. First of all, thank you for putting your name on, and I appreciate you texting in. But Glenn from Absecon, I think what you're doing is you're taking what I'm saying out of context. I'm not naming the bullpen because I think they're a AAA bullpen. Yes, in the most literal sense, they are on a major league team for a reason. They're one of the best teams in baseball for a reason. But none of the guys I named, Johnson, Minter, Jimenez, none of them are the best bullpen pitchers in baseball. None of them are exceptionally better or exponentially better or extremely better or leaps and bounds better than the Phillies bullpen. You take Minter's numbers and you put them next to Alvarado. You take Johnson and Jimenez's numbers and put them next to Strom and Hoffman from last year. There's not a huge difference. And that is my point. My point, Glenn from Absecon, is that why was it that the Phillies bullpen is treated one way and the Braves are a different way? All these players are similar in terms of ability and skill and potential. So I don't accept this idea that, oh, the Braves bullpen shut you down. Listen, you're right. It was just one of those days. But none of those guys are better than the Phillies guys. And that's how I look at it. Mike from Mike from Wildwood chimes in at 609-403-0973. Mike from Wildwood says, Josh, I love hearing you go off, buddy. I didn't know you could say skank on the radio. It starts laughing in the text. Well, I assumed that, first of all, there's no FCC rules against saying a lot of words. It's just that we as professionals try to stay away from certain words. Like, for example, you can say, like, for example, I can get on the radio and say bull, but I can't say the other half of that word, right? I can go on the radio and actually say JA, but I choose not to say JA on the radio because I feel like there's a certain level of decorum when it comes to this business. I believe, I used to get in arguments when I was in high school. Maybe some of you guys went to high school with me, listen to me, so you guys can confirm this. I was the guy who hated Slipknot. And my argument against hating Slipknot in high school was I thought that if you were a musician and you use curse words every few words in your songs, that it was lazy writing. To me, creating music is a form of art, whether it is rap, rock, country, jazz, whatever genre it is, right? Even new metal, right? You're creating something. You're an artist. You're being artistic. So to me, I always argue that if you have to use curse words to make your point, then you're either being lazy-minded or you were raised by somebody who didn't teach you better. And so I used to always say about Slipknot that I hated Slipknot because I felt like their lyrics were something that I couldn't identify with. All they did was use curse words and foul language. Now, I understand I'm not a prude, okay? I listen to plenty of music that has foul language or inappropriate language in it. DMX is my favorite rapper, and anyone who listens to DMX knows that DMX would probably be cancel culture today for some of the things he said in his music back in the 90s. So back to Mike and Wildwood's question about, I chose purposely the word skank because it has a less extreme connotation, at least in my mind, than some of the other descriptions that I have heard men describe women. Okay. Again, that's my opinion. Doesn't mean I am right or wrong. It's just my opinion. Now, I also say it because it brings me back to the scene from Fast and the Furious where, Michelle Rodriguez's character Letty walks in to the party house and sees a bunch of girls hanging off of her man, Dominic Toretto, played by Vin Diesel. And she walks in and says, I smell, and she pauses. She says, skanks. And she tells the girls to beat it, basically with a threat, like, if you don't leave my man alone, I'm going to beat the snot out of you. And Dom turns to her, what was that about? And basically she ushers him upstairs to get away from all the party people downstairs. She could have alone time with him. But, so maybe I'm a little influenced by that movie. Maybe there's a part of me that I always think of that word as a negative because from my experience, I don't think of that word as in, like, there are other verbs, other descriptions that people have used about women that make me uncomfortable to the point where I will tell those guys, dude, that's not cool. I literally had a guy not be friends with me anymore because I told him that I didn't like him using the C word around me. So that gives you an idea where I stand with this stuff. Doesn't mean I'm perfect. I'm just saying that's how I look at it. So, Mike and Wild, congratulations. We went on a side tangent about what words we don't use on the radio. Dave from Violin chimes in at 609-403-0973. Says, we, the regular people, don't get to have one of those days, but you can say it. That's from David and Violin. P.S. He says, I love Slipknot and Creed. I was a Creed guy when I was younger. Not Slipknot. I'm out on Slipknot, which is interesting because I like Corey Taylor's other band, Stone Sour. So I don't know. It's that whole era of music was so strange because the post grunge movement was such a strange era of music. Like when you go back and look at some of those bands from like the late 90s to early 2000s, and I know they're not all post grunge, but I mean, you go from Creed to POD to Sum 41 to Blink 182. It was a very odd time for music. Very, very odd time. Yes, I'm totally out on Slipknot. But like I said, I thought Stone Sour had some interesting music. I appreciated Creed for what it was at the time. I don't act like Creed's the greatest band of all time, but they were a huge part of that era for me. What else was I really into back then? I was really into Linkin Park back then. I mentioned DMX. I'm trying to think what artists from that era. The two hits that Default had. Remember Default? I mean, that, like I said, it was a strange time for music. If I had like my old case of CDs, remember when we had those, when we had to like keep all of our CDs in like a CD case, and there was like a zipper on mine, and everything was organized by like genres, and like my favorites were near the front, and like I had all my mixed CDs together. Yeah, now we're really going on the rabbit hole. But Dave from Violin is right. It is very frustrating because as a sports fan, you understand that these guys are not perfect. You understand that the Phillies come out tomorrow and win 10-2, and it partially erases the frustration of today's game, right? But when you see your best hitters all of not have good days at the office, but yet, as Dave and Violin says, if the average person has a bad day at the office, we don't get given the same level of grace, right? It's the old idea of, if the average American makes a mistake, they get in trouble on their taxes, let's say. But if, people with privilege and politicians make a mistake on their taxes, they get to make excuses and get away with it. It's the double standard. People don't like double standards. So David Violin is right about that. Let's see here. Joey D. Ventler says, big fan of DMX. Eminem is fabulous. Also, Jadakiss, Redman are my top 4. Oh, now we're getting to a top 4 rappers conversation, which is funny because Mike Gill and I had this a few weeks ago about, who are our 5 favorite rappers. Do we call them rappers or hip hop? Like, where are we drawing the line there? Joey D. Ventler, you can chime back in on clear that. Let me see here. Joey D. Ventner says DMX, Eminem, Jadakiss, and Redman are his 4. All right. I agree with you on DMX. DMX is a huge number 1. The other 4 for me, if I was to make a top 4, okay, so we're going top 4, not top 5. Joey D's messing me up because he's going 4 instead of 5. Usually it's top 5 list. But, okay, so, yeah, DMX, definitely. I would say Eminem has to go on the list for me. Ice Cube is up there as well. See, I'm going to go 5 because I can't take the next 2 off of a list because there are 2 other rappers that are always in the conversation for me. So yeah, it's DMX, Ice Cube, Eminem, and then the other 2 are probably 2 guys that some of you may have no idea what I'm talking about, but Dax and NF are both phenomenal. They're both independent rappers. They're not part of like, Death Row Records or any of the major record labels today, but they're very popular on social media. And so you might have heard the NF song Hope playing if you saw or heard any of those college football commercials this year. So he's famous for that. Dax is he's a guy who became famous initially because he would do covers of other famous rappers' songs, and he would try to basically perform the music better than they did. And then he started launching his own music, which is fire as well. So Okay, so if we're doing top 5 rappers, like I said, mine would be DMX, Ice Cube, Eminem, NF, and Dax. And then Joey D has DMX. Joey D from Ventnor has DMX, Eminem, Jadakiss, and Redman. Redman. Blah, 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 blah. Man, easy for me to say. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Me and David and Violent agree on Creed, so Justin Galloway. We disagree on Slipknot, so we'll have to agree to disagree. You know, we're adults here. We can do that. we gotta hit the pause button because I did promise you guys to talk about Hassan Reddick. Let's take an early break. When we'll come back, we'll get into Reddick because Howie Roseman proved again why he is one of the best at his job. He is one of the best at manipulating people to get what he wants. And I'm also going to tell you why Howie Roseman made this deal with the Jets and why it could only have been made with the Jets. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City.
Saturday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein, Mike Carlin, and producer Nick Earnshaw joining me in the studio. Major League Baseball opened its 2024 campaign as the Phillies entertain the Braves at the bank. March Madness resumes, and we will cover it all. Hour 2, the sportsbook consigliere Dave Sherapan checks in from Las Vegas. The Flyers continue their playoff push, and we will hear from studio analyst for the NHL on TNT, Paul Bissonnette, about our Flyers. All that and more. It's the locker room with Billy Schwein, Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Thousands of wines walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guys in the know, price is so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy?
Totalmente.
And you get unlimited 5G data, $25 a line for 4 lines on the unlimited plan, at an amazing price with no contracts. Should you switch to Total by Verizon? Definitely.
Totalmente.
Find a store or switch suavemente at totalbyverizon.com. Monthly rate when you activate without a pay plus taxes and fees. Discount begins the month after you enroll. Additional terms apply. See website for data management practices.
Dog parents are loving Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend Premium Dog Food.
The way she acts and the way she moves, it's just so much better. And she's like a puppy again. It's unbelievable.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a freeze-dried raw food made with 0 artificial preservatives, so it's naturally shelf-stable with no mess, freezer, or fridge required. Plus, it's full of premium turkey, beef, salmon, and meat your dog will love.
We started with Nature's Blend. She's happy. She sleeps well. She's energetic. I am just delighted with this product.
When given the choice, Nature's Blend and Amazon's #1 bestseller in dry dog food, 29 out of 30 dogs chose Nature's Blend first.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of delicious beef liver treats. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Text DEAL to 511-511. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns. Here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you love a good cigar almost as much as your family? Well, maybe that's an exaggeration, but you can find that perfect cigar at Smoker's Haven. With 5 New Jersey locations, Smokers Haven has the finest selection of cigars in the area, like Ashton, My Father's, Romeo and Julieta, Monte Cristo, and more. All from the finest tobacco leaves and hand-rolled by the world's finest cigar makers. All locations are fully open. Stop in and let them help you find the perfect cigar to pair with your life. See all they have and their locations at smokershavennj.com.
Back is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GEAR for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GEAR for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GEAR.
At Target, count on our great deals just in time for Easter. Save $5 when you spend $30 on toys with Target Circle, so you can fill their baskets with fun, like cuddly stuffed animals or 50-piece sidewalk chalk, all from only $5. Add an Easter chocolate faves at BOGO 50% off, from Cadbury to Reese's Mini Eggs and more. And get great family picks with new Easter looks. It's easy with 20% off dresses, polos, and more. Shop in fast for our best Easter deals, only at Target. Restrictions apply.
Hi, Mike Gill here. Looking for the car of your dreams? Well, lucky you. You don't have to drive to Turnersville or Maple Shade to find it. Just go see my friend Rocco at Key Acura of Atlantic City. He'll get you into an Acura Integra A-Spec for $379 a month for 48 months with just $29.99 down. That's it. No additional charges or hidden fees. So go see Rocco at Key Acura, Tilton Road, EHT, the small but friendly dealer with convenient Saturday service hours. Online at KeyAcuraOfAtlanticCity.com. See dealer for details.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennick on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Check back on the text board in just a moment at 609-403-0973 in your DMs. It's the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See, I've waited long enough to get to the Hassan Reddick trade because this news broke right around like 4:02 today. And there's a couple huge takeaways from this deal. So for those who don't know all the details, so the Eagles are trading Hassan Reddick to the Jets for a conditional third-round pick in 2026. Now, the reason why it's conditional is because the pick becomes a second-round pick if Reddick plays at least 67% of the snaps and has 10 or more sacks in 2024. So, a couple of things to understand about this. Number one, Reddick has had 10 or more sacks every year for the last 4 years with 4 different defensive coordinators. So, the idea of him getting 10 or more sacks is really not that hard of a feat for him at this point. And I think he's still playing at a high enough level that he should be able to get 12 to 14 sacks for the next 2 years, at least. So that part of it is going to be interesting. The playing time, I think, comes down to how good the Jets are this year. If the Jets are mostly healthy and they have a good season, he should easily get to that number of 67.5%. So I would say that the odds are very high that the Eagles are going to have a second-round pick from the Jets in 2026. Now, why is it 2026? Well, that's part of what makes Howie Roseman. By 2026, the Jets quarterback will no longer be Aaron Rodgers. It'll probably be either another veteran who's not as good as Aaron Rodgers, or it'll be a young quarterback who they're developing. So for the 2026 NFL draft, which will be based on the 2025 NFL season, the Jets by that point may have missed their window in terms of trying being the key word, to win a championship. So if you do get that second round pick, it could be a high second round pick. So there's a chance that you could have multiple picks in the top 45 picks in 2026. That's where Howie Roseman, first of all, gets savvy. The second part of it is that according to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, teams like the Cardinals and Falcons were both interested in Hassan Reddick, but neither of those teams could afford to give up a third or second round pick and pay Hassan Reddick what is due on his contract. Remember, the Eagles and him agreed to push back his $1 million roster bonus until April, allowing this deal to get through. So number one, if you're the team acquiring him, you are going to have to pay him $1 million basically immediately once it becomes April. Some teams might not be able to do that with cash on hand because remember, every time a team signs guaranteed money, a little background for you guys. This is something I have listened to people like Andrew Brandt explain, and I thought it's a very important insight. The reason why the guaranteed money is so important for a contract and a signing bonus is so important because that money is immediately put into escrow by NFL teams. The NFL team has to budget to take that money and put it aside. This is not like the regular companies out there who pay you each month. No. What these organizations in the NFL have to do is they have to take the money and immediately put it away into an escrow account so they can go and get that money when they have to pay the player. Some of these teams may not have $1 million just sitting around to throw at Reddick. And even if they do, their salary cap may not be able to absorb the cap hit that is coming their way. Remember, Reddick's base salary for 2024 is $14 million. And then you're paying him also $15 million with the roster bonus. Some teams can't afford that part as well. So whatever the reason is, there were teams that wanted Reddick, but were unable to pay him what he's due and give the Eagles a high draft pick. Also, Adam Kaplan for Football at 4 today with Mike Gill on the Sports Bash, NFL Insider, he said that the Eagles were asking for a second-round pick for Reddick, but teams were unwilling to give that to them because of the money due on his contract this year. So what did Howie Roseman do? He said, I can't get a high pick in 2024, but I'm going to go call my guy Joe Douglas. Now, I'm going to tell Joe Douglas, look, I know you're trying to win. I know you're trying to stay competitive. So let's do each other a favor. I stole Bryce Huff away from you. I'm going to give you a pass rusher so you have somebody. But you got to do me a favor. You got to give me a path to get a second-round pick. So Douglas and him agreed that, hey, I'm going to take this guy and his money off your hands, Howie. But the only way you're getting a second-round pick from me is if he hits this criteria. Otherwise, it's a third-round pick. Because Howie knew he couldn't get this deal from the Falcons. He couldn't get this deal from the Cardinals. He couldn't get this deal from other teams. So he got Joe Douglas to get him a road to get that pick that he's going to need. Because the Eagles wanted a certain return on the trade for Reddick. Now, I know for Eagle fans, it's frustrating. Reddick is a local guy. He is a guy that made a lot of sense. He's a local guy, excellent talent, excellent player. But for whatever reason, the Eagles and Vic Fangio, because remember, Fangio is the defense coordinator now, they decided that Reddick was not the guy anymore. They decided that Josh Sweat fit what Vic Fangio was going to do more than Reddick did. So, as of March 29th, I'm going to trust their evaluation. Just like I'm trusting their evaluation on Devin White. There are people saying that he plays out of control. There are people saying he does not have great fundamentals and great instincts at times. And there are games where he completely disappears. But I am going to, in March, trust their evaluation. Now, if we get to October, November, December, and their evaluation of guys like Bryce Huff and Devin White is wrong, and we come to find out they should have kept Reddick in the first place, I'm going to rip the Eagles in October, November, or December. But right here, right now, I'm going to give them the credit because they have shown us they have a track record of getting these things right. They have shown us a track record that they, more often than not, get these moves right. You're going to miss Reddick's production. There's a possibility that production could be made up by Bryce Huff and by Nolan Smith. Remember, Nolan Smith was drafted for the express purpose of being a pass rusher. They did not use him last year. And we don't know for sure, was his lack of usage because the coaching staff didn't trust him? Was it because they were not using him properly? Was it because he wasn't ready for that role yet? Was he not coached up properly? We may never know the full answer. But for whatever reason, the Eagles say they are more comfortable with your number one pass rushers being Huff and Sweat and your number two guys being Nolan Smith and somebody else. The Eagles believe. So I am going to trust their evaluation for right now. If their evaluation is wrong, I'll rip them in 6-7 months from now. I reserve that right. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks to Jeff in Ocean City for chiming in. He says, thanks for the info on Reddick. Don't rip my Eagles, though. I bleed green with every criticism. College basketball coming up next. The Sweet 16 right here on 97.3 ESPN. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night, everybody.
You have the choice, whether it's going out to dinner or ordering takeout at a local restaurant. Those choices help put money back into your community. And Town Square Media South Jersey puts a spotlight on local restaurants.
Go deep at Jester's Dive Bar in Rio Grande. Featuring new daily lunch specials only $9.95, served with a cup of soup. Jester's features live music on Friday and Saturday night. Check jestersdivebar.com for more information.
Thank you for supporting these great local restaurants from Town Square Media, South Jersey.